You just sold your first pair of shoes online and now you need to figure out how to get them shipped to the buyer. If that's you, you're in the right place because in today's video, we're going to be discussing shipping with USPS, UPS, and FedEx, where to get your label for the best possible price, irregardless of where you sold the shoes, whether it's eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, Amazon, StockX, GOAT, we've got you covered. We're also gonna be discussing what supplies that I keep on hand as someone who ships out hundreds of pairs of shoes every single month. And then lastly, we'll be talking about how to package those shoes, regardless of if they have their original box or don't have their original box, whether they're boots or whether they're sandals. We've got you covered in today's video. So by the end of the video, you should have the confidence to get your shoes shipped out to the buyer. So we're gonna get started by talking about the different shipping carriers. USPS, UPS, and FedEx are the three main ones that we use in the United States. We're gonna start with USPS because they are the one that's the most complicated, but it's pretty basic once you get a general understanding of how their shipping works. USPS does offer free shipping boxes. They are going to be stamped priority mail. All of the boxes that you can get for free from USPS are gonna be priority mail boxes, and they must be shipped using a priority mail service. USPS also offers services such as Ground Advantage and other options that aren't priority mail. And if you are shipping something that is Ground Advantage or one of those other options other than priority mail, you must ship them in a brown box. You cannot use one of their free priority mail boxes. The reason for that being is the cost of the box is factored into their shipping price. So whenever you're getting these free boxes that say priority mail, you must ship them using a priority mail service. Now, some of the priority mail boxes are also flat rate boxes. I don't have any of their flat rate boxes on hand, but I do carry their padded flat rate envelopes. As you can see, it says flat rate on the envelope. The boxes say flat rate as well. So if you're picking up some of those to use from USPS and you ship something in them, you are going to need to be using a label that is for that flat rate. Basically what that means is anything that fits in this envelope or one of the flat rate boxes is going to ship for the same price, whether it weighs 2 pounds or whether it weighs 70 pounds. And I think 70 pounds is the cutoff. So those really come in handy if you're shipping something really heavy that does fit inside of those respective boxes. Shoes, on the other hand, aren't very heavy, so typically I don't use any flat rate service. The flat rate envelope does come in handy from time to time, but we'll discuss that when we're talking about packaging shoes later in today's video. So moving on from the flat rates, they also offer Priority Mail Express. That is the step up from Priority Mail. It's just gonna get to the buyer within 1 to 2 days. Priority Mail is gonna get to the buyer within 2 to 3 days. I don't ever ship anything express. You can get the Priority Mail Express boxes for free on their website. I don't carry anything on me because most buyers aren't gonna pay the $40 to $50 to get their shoes shipped next day. So things to note with USPS. If you're picking up their free boxes, they must be shipped using a priority mail service. Anything else is going to be tossed in a brown box. Moving on to UPS and FedEx. They're a lot more simple than USPS. You're just gonna need to pick up some brown boxes. Obviously, you cannot use the priority mail boxes that you get for free from USPS to ship UPS and FedEx. You just need to pick up some brown boxes. Now, moving on to where to get your shipping label. The first thing that I'll say, and the most important thing that I'll say, is never, ever buy your shipping at the post office. You're going to be paying much higher than you should be for that shipping label at the post office, regardless if it's FedEx, UPS, or USPS. What I recommend is using a site like Pirate Ship. If you didn't sell the shoes on a selling platform that either provides you a label or gives you the opportunity to purchase the label through them, pirateship.com is a great free resource to buy discounted USPS, UPS, and FedEx shipping labels at the price that you're going to want to pay. The way that purchasing shipping works is you are just going to need to know the dimensions of the box that you're shipping in. So you can just pick up a ruler or something to measure the boxes and keep that on hand, and a scale to keep on hand. So you know the weight and the dimensions of what the box is. You pop that information into Pirate Ship or wherever you're getting the shipping label, and that's gonna generate your shipping price. But if you're shipping something that you sold on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, StockX, GOAT, and several other selling platforms, those just being the most popular, they are just going to email you a label. Some of those platforms like Poshmark and Depop are going to send you a USPS shipping label. I'm unfamiliar with Depop, but I do know that Poshmark, when they send you a priority mail shipping label, you can use that on flat rate boxes. It doesn't have to just be a regular priority mail box, so keep that in mind. But basically what you need to understand is if you're selling on a selling platform, double check and make sure that they didn't already send you a shipping label that you just need to print off and toss on a box. You might not need to actually purchase shipping. But if you're selling shoes on eBay or say Amazon, they let you buy shipping within their platform. So I recommend buying the shipping through their platform. They're typically going to give you the same discounts as you would get on say Pirate Ship. And if you're selling on a selling platform that allows you to purchase shipping through them, I highly recommend doing that because that is going to include a lot of seller protection, just in case that package gets missing or if it never shows up to the buyer, the selling platform will have your back. So look into what selling platform that you are selling on. They're either going to send you a label or you can purchase a label through them. If not, pirateship.com is what I highly recommend. And last thing that I will mention about your shipping label, this is going to change depending on when you are watching this video. Prices go up every single year, sometimes multiple times a year. But right now in 2024, the average shipping price that I'm looking at, if I'm shipping Ground Advantage, eBay is my main selling platform and most of the shoes that I ship out are getting shipped Ground Advantage. The most that I'm paying for shoes that are 2 pounds and under in a brown box is going to be right around the $10 mark. Obviously, the closer they are to me, the cheaper they're gonna get, but on average, it's gonna be around $10. The 3 pound mark is gonna bump that up a couple bucks, and if you're using priority mail, it can jump up to all the way to 15 to 17, depending on the weight of the package. So just keep that in mind. If you're going somewhere to purchase a shipping label and your shipping is over $20 or even over $15, and you need to get that shipping price down, you very easily can do that. You should honestly be keeping the average cost of your shipping labels around the $10 mark. I've shipped hundreds of shoes every single month, and $10 is about the average I pay for shipping. Again, most of that being through USPS. If you're watching this and you're somebody who wants to take your shoe reselling business to the next level, I wanted to make a quick announcement because I recently launched a private shoe reselling community called Soul Success. I got a link to it down in the description below. What that includes is, first off, a weekly Zoom call hosted by myself where you guys can come on, ask questions, get those questions answered, and just chop it up with other shoe resellers within the community. You're also getting access to my private Discord server, which pretty much just takes those weekly Zoom calls and takes it to the next level. You can hop in there and ask questions, get real-time feedback when you're outsourcing on whether other people in the community, as well as myself, would pick up items and whatever they're priced at. You can get advice as you're outsourcing within the Discord community, as well as other options. Also included in the membership is my brand guide. There's over 100 brands. It's a great resource, especially if you're just getting started in reselling and you want to expand your brand knowledge past the major brands like Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour, and you really want to broaden your horizons when you're outsourcing. That brand guide is going to be your best friend. It's included in the membership. Everybody who is a member also has access to my library of video lessons that are constantly getting added to. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, again, the link is down in the description below. Tag me, say hello, and I can't wait to see you inside. Anyway, back to today's video. Now, moving on to supplies that I use, one of the most frequent questions that I get is, can you ship shoes in polybag? And I am a very big proponent of just shipping shoes in polybag if they aren't super expensive. My average sell price on eBay is a little bit on the higher end, so I'm not shipping a ton of cheap shoes. But if you source from thrift stores, you have a low buy cost, your average selling price is around 30 bucks. I don't see a problem with buying some 12 by 15 poly bags. You can get them using your eBay shipping supply coupon if you have an eBay store. And then it's as simple as just tossing the shoes into the poly bag. You got to remember that these are shoes. People wear them on their feet. So getting tossed around in the mail is not going to do much damage to them. They're literally items that people walk on. So if you want to ship in a poly bag to save some money, don't be afraid to. I just stay away from using poly bags on your higher end items. I like to use the $50 mark as the cutoff. Anything over $50, I'd probably go ahead and just box it up. Anything under $50, poly bag is perfectly fine. Now, as far as boxes go, the Priority Mail shoebox is the only Priority Mail box that I keep on hand nowadays. With Priority Mail prices going up and ground shipping being much cheaper, I'm typically opting to go with the ground shipping, but I do keep the Priority Mail boxes on hand because some of the selling platforms like Poshmark will send me a Priority Mail label. And if I'm already being sent a Priority Mail label that I did not pay for or the buyer paid for, I might as well ship it in a priority box that I can get for free. So the 14 by 7 by 5 Priority Mail shoeboxes, 100% free on USPS's website. I keep those on hand. And then for shoes that don't have their original box, I keep on hand some 14 by 8 by 6s. I pick these up from Grainger.com. I live in Orlando and there's a couple Grainger stores in the area, so I don't have to have them shipped. It's an easy way to bring the price of the boxes down to around like 63 cents, I believe it is, per box. Since I'm not paying for shipping, I'm just driving to a location and picking them up. Makes these very cheap. So again, 14 by 8 by 6 is the brown box that I keep on hand. This is great for shoes without their original box. Some of the smaller shoes with their original box will fit in this, but mainly for shoes without their original box. And then moving a step up, I like to keep 14 by 10 by 6s on hand. These are great for shoes that do have their original box. And then sometimes, say, a pair of like high top, thick, large men's shoes that won't fit in the 14 by 8 by 6 boxes, having the 2-inch larger variant, the 14 by 10 by 6, these will fit easily in that, as well as any shoe that has their original box. So again, 14 by 10 by 6 is what I keep on hand. And then moving on up, I keep a 16 by 12 by 6 box. And this is for shoes that are in their original box, typically, that are a larger men's size, say 13, 14, 15, that does not fit in the previous box that we mentioned. And this is also great for boots like cowboy boots, things that are really tall, or some like knee-high women's boots. Anything that won't fit in the previous box is gonna fit easily in this 16 by 12 by 6 box. So I like to keep those on hand. And then as I mentioned earlier in the video, these padded flat rate envelopes, I very rarely use them, but I do like to keep them on hand just in case a smaller pair of shoes, maybe some kids' shoes or some sandals, get purchased from, say, California. Me being in Florida, it can be very pricey to ship things all the way to California. This only costs just under $9. The prices just went up. I can't think off the top of my head exactly what it is, but it's just under $9 to ship this anywhere in the country, regardless of weight. So if there's, again, smaller pair of shoes, sandals, sold to California, I need to save on shipping, the priority mail flat rate, it comes in handy every now and then. And then we already talked about a shipping scale. I recommend getting one with a detached screen. This one, as you can see, does not have a detached screen, but the ones with the detached screen is gonna make it easier to see the weight, just in case you have one of the bigger boxes, you sit it on the scale, sometimes that screen can be blocked. But regardless, shipping scales are only about 20 bucks, 25 bucks. So definitely recommend picking up one of those. As for tape, you're gonna go through a lot of tape if you sell a lot of shoes. The best place that I've found to get tape for a good price that gets to you very quickly is American Bubble Boy. They mainly sell bubble wrap, but they also sell tape branded as My Go-To Tape. Great prices, 2-day shipping, regardless of where you're at in the country. I definitely recommend that. And then getting a tape gun is just gonna make the process a lot quicker instead of having to find the end of the tape. If you are shipping out a lot, I definitely recommend getting a thermal printer. It's not necessary. You can cut and tape your labels from a regular printer, but a thermal printer is going to save you so much time. And once you get one, you are going to wish you bought one a lot sooner. So I recommend the Rollo wireless printer. I have a review of that on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out, but I have 2 of these. I love them. I've been using them for years. If you don't need the wireless capability, they do have a wired option that is much cheaper. It's just perfect. I used it for years until they came out with the wireless version. So Rollo is the printer that I recommend. And then for packing paper, as I like to make sure that the shoes aren't bouncing around in the box, I try to fill as many of the voids as I can. Just simple sheets of packing paper. I get these from Walmart. A pack of a bunch, I think like 250 sheets is only $10. So I stock up on these from Walmart. Okay, and now lastly, we're gonna move on to shipping individual shoes. I already pretty much showed you with the padded, or not the padded flat rate rather, but the poly bags. Again, these are 12 by 15. I store my shoes in these clear poly bags. You don't have to ship them in the clear poly bags. It's just how my inventory system is set up, but nothing more than just literally slipping these in and then folding this over, and this is good to go. Slapping a label on the outside. This is gonna be the cheapest way to ship shoes in these 12 by 15 polys. Some customers, you do run the risk of some customers being upset. They want their shoes shipped in a box, but I've shipped hundreds of shoes in poly bags and bubble mailers, and I haven't got any complaints. I've seen people get complaints. I wouldn't be afraid to ship shoes like this as long as they're a cheaper pair of shoes. Again, people wear these on their feet. They're gonna get beat up. Post office isn't gonna hurt these shoes much more than someone walking on them is going to. So that's how we ship with the poly bags. As for shoes that do not have their original box, again, this is where the 14 by 8 by 6 boxes come in. I like to start off with a piece of packing paper and then tossing the shoes right on top, and then finishing it off with another piece of packing paper, taping that up, and it's good to go. The priority mail box is just the same way. I'll go ahead and get part of this taped up. Again, since this is for shoes without their original box as well, it's the same situation. I start off with some packing paper, followed up by the shoes, finishing off with some more packing paper, taping up that end of the box, and just making sure the shoes aren't going anywhere. Now, moving on up, the 14 by 10 by 6 boxes, again, for shoes that have their original box. or shoes that are larger that don't quite fit in the previous box. Get that taped up. And then with shoes in the original box, I'm just tossing them directly in the box and then filling any voids with packing paper. I'll stuff a piece back here, a piece on the side and a piece on top, and then we'll fold this up and it's ready to go. And then as I mentioned before, if you have a taller pair of shoes, say a large men's shoe that won't fit in the previous box, same situation with this, packing paper, shoes in, and then packing paper on top, folding it up, and that's good to go. And now, as you can see, some shoes that have their original box are going to be a little bigger than the 14 by 10 by 6 and won't quite fit inside of it. So for those, that's where that last large box is going to come in handy. Again, 16 by 12 by 6s. I get these in the previous boxes. I just realized I didn't mention that. From Zoro.com. They have free shipping on orders over $50. So it's another place that you can get your shipping prices knocked off, making the boxes a lot cheaper if you're purchasing enough boxes at a time. And then this is no different from the last one. The shoes are just gonna get plopped right on in here, and then this one's good to go. Now, also, I mentioned that this box, the 16 by 12 by 6 box, is also gonna fit your taller boots great. I toss some packing paper down, put the boots inside. With these taller ones, I typically put a piece of packing paper in between them so they're not rubbing up on each other since there's so much surface area on these shoes. And then topping it off with the last pair of shoes and another piece of packing paper. And that's how I ship most of my larger boots. Now, I did mention that my shoes are stored in these clear poly bags. I know a lot of people like to ship shoes in these clear poly bags to avoid the postal service leaving the box out in rain. And if that's the case, the poly bag is going to keep the shoes safe. So that is a perk of shipping in these poly bags. Before I switched to the inventory system that uses these poly bags, I did not ship shoes using this clear poly bag. So I don't think it's necessary. Of the thousands of shoes that I've sold, I've never once had a customer complain about their shoes getting wet in shipping. So I don't feel like you need to take that extra expense to put your shoes in clear poly bags. The only reason I'm shipping them out like this is because that's how I store them. Okay, just to recap, boxes. Priority Mail shoe boxes must use Priority Mail shipping labels. Brown boxes, I keep on hand 14 by 8 by 6, 14 by 10 by 6, and 16 by 12 by 8. I get those from Grainger.com or Zoro.com, and those are good for shipping anything. Priority Mail labels can go on them, ground labels can go on them, UPS, FedEx, USPS, whatever the label is, the brown box is going to work. With your labels, do not buy your labels at the postal service. If you need to purchase labels yourself, use pirateship.com. If you're selling on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Goat, StockX, they're going to be sending you a label to your email. Use that label if you're selling on sites like eBay or Amazon that let you purchase the label within their selling platform. Purchase them on that selling platform for the added seller protection. For supplies to keep on hand, packing paper I pick up from Walmart. It is in the business supplies section. Only $10 for a roll of, I've actually got one right here, and I ripped 220 sheets. A roll of 220 sheets is only 10 bucks. For tape, AmericanBubbleBoy.com. I recommend grabbing a tape gun. If you want to upgrade to a thermal printer, which is going to save you a ton of time of cutting and taping, Rollo is what I recommend. And then just don't overthink the packaging. If you want to use a poly bag, use a poly bag. People are going to be walking on the shoes. It's okay. With the boxes, just put enough packing paper in there to make sure the shoes aren't bouncing around and rubbing on each other. Just get them secured in the box, taped up, and ready to go. So that being said, that is exactly how I ship shoes out. That is all the supplies that I keep on hand. If there's any questions that I didn't address, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll get back to you down there. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If this was helpful, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more shoe reselling content. But with that being said, I already thank you for watching, so I'm just gonna get out of here. Peace.